What's up, Dilly Gang? This is Dilio coming to you with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons motivation is sabotaging your music production. The 5 reasons that motivation is sabotaging your music production. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all that good stuff. And we're going to get this thing popping, all right? So let's dive in. So a lot of times when I talk to people, and even in my live streams, I hear about people or music producers saying, you know, I just don't feel motivated. I just don't feel like I'm up to it. And I understand that. And I've definitely dealt with my own struggles. I can remember, you know, feeling like it seems like going out for weeks or months and not touching the equipment or just not coming to that gear and grinding out because you may struggle with some mental things like, you know, wanting to be further along as you have, or what you have going on doesn't look as good as someone else's, and that can provide anxiety and kind of can demotivate you. And then there are other times that say, well, I don't create until I feel motivated. I don't work until I feel motivated. And sometimes if you depend on that, it's going to take you longer and you're going to have more time and more of your year go by without music being done, without beats being done, or anything like that. So the number one reason, or reason number one as to why motivation can sabotage, or depending on motivation to sabotage your music production, is that you wait for motivation to come before you create. This is a procedure where you're kind of waiting for something to hit you. You're waiting for a sign. You're waiting for a rock to fall out the sky or a bird to fly a certain type of way. And you think that is the sign to create, or maybe you hear somebody else doing something, or you watch somebody else, okay, then I'll create. But one thing I can say from my running experience, because I spent the majority of this year, and I'm still doing it, running 3 miles a day for 3 days out of the week. And I can tell you there are so many times I drag myself out of the house after work or early in the morning on Saturday, and I would run, and I wouldn't depend, and I didn't feel like it, but I knew that the end goal was going to make me better. I knew it was going to do something good for my health, for my cardiovascular ability, make me a little bit, maybe give me an edge against everything that's going on in the world. You know, we got a lot of crazy things going on in the world. So I wanted to do something to help me out. And I knew that from prior experience that if I relied on feeling like doing it, I wasn't going to do it. If I relied on things lining up, I wouldn't have started. And oftentimes, because I wasn't good, or I didn't do it in the level that I think I should do it at, or it didn't look right, I didn't proceed with it. And that's why, you know, waiting for that motivation to create can hurt. And sometimes, and I get it, it's a grind, it's not as fun. And I know that we rely on a lot of fun when we create, but if you rely on that, a year, months can go by of time, and it's okay to have balance, but time can go by that could have been spent creating or recording songs, and that goes for me as well. Another reason, this is reason number 2, you think that without motivation, what you create is not special. I think that creators, we get a dopamine kick if we, you know, get that affirmation or that validation from a certain someone or a certain audience. We get this validation, or the numbers look right on our YouTube channel, or maybe the retweets or the hearts and likes look like the way that we want them to, and we kind of use that as a thing to push us to create more. Like, oh, okay, they like that, so I'm gonna hit them more with that. But I'll tell you something about life, and I know we hear a lot of things about marketing and all that stuff, but I could tell you for once, everything that people try to teach you or to say that works may work for them. And I said this plenty of times in so many videos. I'm going to keep saying it because that's life, that you can do everything right, follow everyone's instructions to the T, and still get not the same result. Everybody who you check out and you study, providing you information on how to do different things, cannot guarantee you the results. They cannot promise you that the same results. And then what do? They say, well, you didn't do this right, or you didn't do that right. It's always that double-edged sword. It's like, okay, follow these steps, and then if you follow them and things still don't end up the way that they say it's going to end up, then it's on you. Number 3, you solely rely on feeling good to create. It's okay to not be okay, and that is something I am studying and learning every day. And at the same time, you have to learn to be okay when others that you care about are not okay or not communicating. And sometimes, actually not sometimes, but a lot of times, I don't feel 100%. when I create, I don't feel 100%. When I stream, I don't feel 100%. When I try to edit something or take on a role or a job for somebody or a task, I don't feel 100%. But I understand that the task is that important that I have to push through that. And how do you push through that? Well, it's just very simple. Understand what the action is, understand what the goal is, and do it while not feeling 100%. And I believe that if you can develop a pattern of doing things while not feeling at 100%, it'll make you more efficient in getting your goals done. And it makes you less dependent on motivation. We talk about not depending on validation to create, which really should come from inside. And then as far as motivation, sometimes motivation may not come from inside. You may not feel good about it. And even then, at those times, it's still time to go to work. It's still time to create. And then always make sure to find time to balance out and have fun too. That's very important. Number 4, you forget about all other important things that are of value when you look for motivation. Like, for example, say one thing is like, say you create content, you try to share it with people, and the people you expect that know you don't honor it. This goes back to my validation video. They don't honor it. They don't recognize it. And what happens is that you forget other things that are important. You forget that you have something to create with. You forget that you have a tool to create with. You forget that you got things working, enough things in working order to where you can sit down and create. And if you don't have that, then you still have an opportunity to work towards it and to figure something out. And I'll be the first to tell you that I get frustrated when the answers don't come as fast as I want them to, when the solutions don't come as fast as you want them to. And then especially when you search online on Google or YouTube, the first things you try to search for after are things that are at the top of sales funnels. And I get that. And there's all these solutions that are put out there in front of you to answer these questions that you have. But when you forget about the things that you already done, and that's something very important, you forget, and even myself, forget the things that I did already, the achievements that I've done. And it even goes further than that, because it's very easy to remember the bad things, because they have some sort of, I don't know, something with the brain about bad things happening to you that make you remember more. But if you could take time to find the energy to remember the good things, the good achievements you've done, the things that actually worked out, the things that actually progressed in a positive way, those are things that are easy to forget about when you're relying on motivation, because now you're not feeling motivated and you don't think about past victories as the things that can help you push forward, or can help you inspire you, or create motivation there if you want to find motivation there. I know it's a video about not relying on motivation and how it can sabotage your music production, but I think that's very important. And number 5, you lack the motivation to give permission to waste time on other things that don't matter to you. Let me read that again, because I did write that down. So you give yourself permission to waste time on things that don't matter to you. So what does that mean? That could be a video game. That could be a hobby. That could be someone wanting to talk to you on the phone that has nothing to offer you. That could be taking time meditating on why certain people criticize you a certain type of way. Or that could be time spent wondering about the past and why things didn't work out. Just a lot of time spent really pondering. And this is something that I'm guilty of. And I'm not going to sit here in front of you on my channel and tell you that I got it all together, though I do know a lot of people like to portray themselves as having it that way. But I believe that if I'm able to be transparent with you and say, hey, I struggle and I work and I process these things too, then maybe we could connect better, maybe get a little bit more transparency on this platform, and not getting so much identity validation from me by appearing to have it all 100%. And I just want to share that journey with you. I think it's easy to waste time on things that don't matter. And I think it's okay to go on a tangent sometimes in life, to find a new hobby or a game or a TV show. Some TV shows are a waste of time. I'll be honest with you, they're really good, and you start to get sucked in and you will watch that TV show, and it might be a good ride, and maybe you need that for a time. But it's okay to allow yourself to do that, but come back to what you're doing. And that's very important. So let me make sure I read this sentence right. I said, you allow the lack of motivation to give you permission to waste time on the things that don't matter to you, like haters. That shouldn't matter to you. People that don't listen to your music, who don't rock your music, that shouldn't matter to you. People who don't rock your music production, who don't want to take time to play your tracks, don't want to write to your music, who ignore you. Don't waste time on that. People who don't want to negotiate with you and talk to you and communicate with you and try to find a common ground. Don't waste your time on that. People don't want to communicate. People, when you try to give them an opportunity to communicate to you what their problem is and how you can kind of try to find a way to work it out and talk to a solution and have a dialogue. Don't waste your time trying to make people do that. True negotiation, true desire is never negotiated for. So make sure you pay attention to that. And those are the 5 reasons that motivation is preventing you from producing your music, because motivation's not going to be there. I'm going to tell you the truth. The motivation's not going to be there. And when you got work to do, you got a dream to pursue, what are you going to do when that motivation's not there? You're just going to sit there and wait for Super Mario to come tap you on your shoulder or what? I don't know. But I think that if you value what you're doing, if you love what you're doing, sometimes just sit in the room. Just be in the place around your equipment. And if you don't like anything you're playing, just be in the room and then just toil around. You never know when you will hear something that you like. All right? So make sure you hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. This is the Dilly Gang, and I'll see you on the next video. And always before I go, touch!